All right, what's going on, everyone? We got another episode of MobLand, season 1, episode 8, Helter Skelter. And obviously, the end of the last episode was insane, with Brennan getting killed by the chainsaw. And Serafina, she survives. Harry makes a call to Cap McAllister, who is like the head of the cartel, and she stops it before Serafina dies. And in this episode, it starts with Maeve and Conrad, and they're just reminiscing about Brendan, his birth, and Conrad had plans for him, how he's probably going to take over the business one day. And I get Maeve is sad because she lost her son and like Conrad, but like it's Maeve's fault. She's the one who gave up their location to begin with. And for whatever reason, she trusted Richie just because they had like slept together in the past. It's kind of a dumb move, especially after he just blew his wife up and his son died. Like, you really think he was looking for olive branches? Serafina comes back home with like a warm reception from Conrad. Maeve is like up in her window. She's like mad, and again, it's her fault that it turned out this way. She eventually goes downstairs and puts on her act, and she's like, "Oh, welcome home, Serafina. We love you, and let's get you some food." And it's like, okay. You can even see Harry. He's kind of like, he even gives her like a little suspicious look, because he even says later in the episode that Maeve's the one pulling all the strings, so he already knows what's going on. Conrad is then questioning Harry on like how he knows Cap McAllister and how he was able to pull this off, and he said that she offered him a job with her like 2 years ago, and he said, "I'll think about it," even though he wasn't going to think about it because he wasn't going to do it. He tells Conrad that he's loyal and also that he knows how the business works, so that if he would have left, the Harrigans would have put like a hit on him, and he probably would have been dead pretty quick. And then Conrad finally, I guess, like officially tells Harry that he now sees him as his son. He says he lost his son and gained a son. Harry's the prince of the family. So Harry's, gone up in a rank, in his position. The show just has like a great cast, because now you have Toby Jones, who's in the show, and he's playing Colin Tattersall, and he's a former deputy chief inspector, and he's like residing over the Harrigan Stevenson case. Like, he's been following it for a while. Colin says that he put Richie away twice in his career. And then you got Fisk and Mukasa, bring him up to speed on all the people in the families. Most of them he knows. It's just saying about all the new players, mainly like Harry's wife and Gina. He then has an idea for them to bring to Richie this immunity deal where he can be immune for 10 years from prosecution if they help him with his resources to help them take down the Harrigans. As we see later, when they're at Richie's house, he's more concerned about who's going to be owning who. At first I thought they were saying like owed them, like they owed them something, but no, it was own. When I went back and watched, I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Owned. And Mukasa was like, she's like, yeah, you're definitely not going to be owning us because, whatever, we're the cops. Richie didn't like that answer, so he pops them, both the feds. And then he has like Colin's still alive because I guess they have a history, or I don't know if he's like in on it or if just because they have a history he let him live, because Colin basically like gives in and he's like, yeah, Richie, you own us like always. Richie agrees to the deal after he says that. So interesting to see what else his role is in this show, because again, he said that he had gotten Richie locked up twice beforehand, so Richie's obviously not going to be very kind to this guy. And then Harry finally finds out that Eddie and Gina are like hooking up. I don't know, because Gina is 16 in the show and we don't know how old Eddie is. I'm guessing he's probably 18 or older, so there's some uncomfortableness there. Harry finds out, and you probably expect him to go in there and just like beat the shit out of Eddie. He goes in there and Eddie's like bragging to his face about giving his daughter his schlong and stuff like that, and being an asshole as usual. Tom Hardy is just so good in the role because he's just sitting there just staring at him while he's saying all this shit, and you really don't know what he's gonna do. Like, he's the most unpredictable person. You don't know whether he's gonna be mad or not or whatever. He ends up just being like, sit down, Eddie. Just sit down. And he basically just tells him, he's like, I can't control Gina, who she's with or what she does, so I just want you two to be kind to each other, blah blah blah, giving like a dad speech. And he like leaves, but he knocks on the door again and he's like, just remember, Eddie, I'll be there with you all the way to the top, and when we're at the top, I'm gonna push you off. So he still got like a little jab in there. He wasn't like, you're completely off the hook. Conrad has Jan call Alice, because after Jan left to meet up with her, he's suspicious, as everyone is, and Alice answers and she's like on a jog, and he asks her to come over to the house for dinner. She agrees, wondering if she's gonna somehow blow her cover or if she's just guaranteed gonna die or something. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it probably won't be good for Alice. And honestly, I won't be too mad, because honestly what she's been doing to Jan, like one of the cops was like, oh, we're making a breakthrough, and I was like, yeah, you're about to get Jan killed. That's the only breakthrough you're gonna get, because you've just been using her. And then Harry meets up with the Freddy guy again, the guy who planted the guns in the house after the funeral. He pulls the gun out on Harry, and Harry basically gives him the, that's not a good idea speech if you kill me, blah 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 blah. The usual. Eventually, Freddy like lowers his gun, and Harry asks him about the fentanyl business and information on that because they want to. I think Conrad wants to take that over, either hit it or take it over. And he tells him all this information about like how much and where and whatnot. And he brings up that someone in the Harrigans is also involved with it, and he tells Harry off screen, so we don't get to see it. But we do see Freddy get thrown off the parking garage because Zosha and this other guy, they're waiting for Harry. He just fucking hits the car in front of them. And I'm guessing he probably said Maeve would be my guess, and she's been pulling a lot of strings behind the scenes. But also, Maeve brings up how Kevin has another brother. So maybe there's another brother out there who's going to show up and put a wrench in this whole power dynamic hierarchy thing. And then Harry has to ask Kat for another favor because Conrad wants to have a deal with Jaime to talk to him to see if they can move forward after this. And she agrees, but now Harry owes her double time. So I wonder what he's gonna have to do to pay her back. She's gonna end up being like, yeah, you need to kill the Harrigans and the Stevensons or something. Something wild. But yeah, I'm liking the show. After the last episode, this is more of like a breather episode. I'm sure the next 2 episodes will probably be kind of crazy as things ramp up to the end. So let me know, did you watch this episode? Did you like it? Have you liked the season so far? What episode is your favorite? Let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.